everybody, Brennan here. I'm super excited. The day has finally arrived. I'm going to be doing a piano tutorial for the Interstellar Main Theme composed by Hanszimmer. There's lots of versions of this on YouTube. People can play it in almost infinitely different ways. What I'm going to do in this tutorial is I'm going to show you kind of like the main theme parts, and then I'm going to play the melody in about 5 different variations. So if you want, you can go step by step through this video, learn the entire theme, or if you find a variation too hard, you can just skip that and go to another variation that's a bit easier. It's going to start with an easier level of complexity and then progress until we get to an advanced level complex variation. So I'm going to go ahead and play in full all the different parts and pieces that you could potentially learn in this video. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It helps me out as a creator here on YouTube, and it also helps you guys out because then you don't miss out on any of my future content. And with that, let's get right into it. main note I want to make here before we get into this tutorial. So some of the things we're going to be learning are very, very advanced and they're going to take a lot of practice, but any beginner could go through this video, and as long as they take it step by step and you don't try and learn too much at once, you could learn this entire advanced piano piece. So that's why I'm considering this in a way like an easy piano tutorial, because I'm going to show you how to play each part and break it down nice and simple. Just make sure that you do get your practice time in, because out of all the videos I've made on my channel, this one has taken the most amount of practice for me. I've had to practice this for almost a month to where I could play it without messing up. So I just wanted to say that at the beginning of the video. I don't want you to be too hard on yourself if you're struggling at first through this song, but just know that with hard work and consistent practice, any beginner would be able to play this entire piece as long as they work on it for a little bit. So we're going to start with the intro here. You're going to have your thumb here on E, and think of this like keeping the rhythm of the entire song. It's going to be playing this key throughout the entire intro, and it's keeping time, almost like a ticking clock. It's staying there exactly the entire time, and then you're kind of playing keys around that center key. So I'm going to show you what I mean. First, you start off by just playing the E, and you do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you come in on 7. With your pointer finger here in A and your third finger here in A. So it's going to be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Remember to keep hitting that one, right? Move these keys up to B. So let's try that again. Starting here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Switch. Then you go back to A, B, C, B, A, B, C, back down to B. So all together, that's switch to B, A, B, C, B, A, B, C, B. So just think of this, you don't really have to pay attention to how much you're counting because it's keeping a steady beat the entire time. So I'm going to play it through one more time. Here we go from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. B, A, B, C, B, A, B, C. Back to B. Now we move on to the next part. So the way to think of it is like you're playing this E with the other piano parts together, and you keep that E constant. So now we go. So that's keeping that E the same. You do your pointer finger on A, move up to E, C, down to B. And then you go A, E, C, B, A, B, C, back down to B. Then you go A, E, C, B, A, B, C, up to D, E. You do that 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we're going to do both hands here. So the best way to kind of learn this part is to just follow along with me here and try and memorize it. That's going to come in handy a lot with this song, especially if you're not using sheet music like me, is you take each part, you learn it, you listen to it over and over, and you memorize that part. Okay, so now we're going to go back to this part. So adding in the left hand here. So it's like you take out the E, and these hands are doing the same thing. To D, E, 2, 3, 4, and we go into the next part. So I'm going to play it nice and slow, both hands, and you can follow along that way. Into the next part here. So it goes okay. So we're going to start with the right hand. So you're going to be doing a loop. And this is going to continue for a little bit in the song. So the best way to learn this loop is to memorize it. Like I said, if you're not using sheet music, I kind of just listen to the song over and over until I finally got this loop. So you go A, B, C, B, A, C, B, A, G, A, B, G, B, A, G, E, B, G. I'm going to do it without me talking. First section here. Okay. Then you go A, C, B, D, C, A, B, G. A, C, B, D. And then it goes C, D, C, B, A. Then it goes C, B, A, G. And the loop kind of starts over. A, B, G, B, A, G, do, do, do. So I'm going to go through the second half again. So it's see how it's on a loop? Now at this part it changes. So then it goes. So try and follow along with me here because this is a little bit tricky to teach. So the best way is to just kind of memorize the loop. So here we go, starting from the top. This part. Now it changes. This part. Now it changes. Here. Two, three, four. So again, now that you've learned it a little bit, now you can practice doing it faster. So full speed, it would sound like this. I definitely recommend at this point, because it's going to take a lot of practice for this part, is definitely just pause the video, maybe even spend a couple days on this and then come back once you've practiced it a bit. But for the sake of the time on this video, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next part. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add in this E key to this part we already learned and add in your left hand. Okay? So this part that we already learned is going to be the exact same. We're just adding in these keys. So with this E, it comes every other note. So together, separate, together, separate. Best way to learn it is just to watch me. So here we go. Feel free to watch that and pause it just to practice. Now we're going to add in the left hand. So it's... Now we switch to B. Now we go. Back to B. we go. The left hand's kind of following it, so it's A, B, C, B, A, B, C, B. So all together it'd be like this. I'm going to say the left hand while I play it. Here we go. Up to D, and then E. So now if you really want to give yourself a challenge, you can add in what's called an octave. So instead of playing just one key, actually do the same key down here and play it at the same time. That part we just learned. So you can add that to like add another element, another variation. So it would be like this. Okay. All right. So now we're going to get to a little bit trickier variation of this. So instead of playing that E like a ticking clock, you're actually going to separate it now. So you do the same part, you just add an E in between each key. So it's going to be like this. And then the left hand would be the exact same as the last section. So all together it would sound like this. I'm going to try and play it nice and slow. Now we get on to kind of the main component of the song. And from this, you can build all kinds of variations. This is kind of like the main melody of the song. So I'm going to show you a few different, some easier, some harder ways of doing this. So in the right hand, the melody in general is A, E, A, E, it starts over. A, E, A, E, B, E, B, E, C, E, C, E, D, E, D, E, B, okay? And then from this, you can kind of build. So in the left hand, the basic melody is pinky on F, middle finger on A, and thumb on C. Move everything up one key. Everything up one key. Back down. Then that starts over. All up one. All up one. Back down. And then that repeats and repeats. So all together, that's switch, 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 all repeats. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the next variation of that. So it's a little bit harder. So this ticking clock of the E kind of comes in again. So it's okay, so see how this part is exactly the same? All you're doing is adding in that E key. So it's first like this. So you do together, separate, separate. Repeat. Together, separate, separate. Move this middle one up to B. Together, separate, separate. Together, separate, separate. Move up to C. Together, separate, separate. Together, separate, separate. Move up to your fourth finger with this D. Together, separate, separate. Together, separate, separate. And then that starts over. So without me talking, it's okay, and then on the left hand, we're going to do those octaves again. So instead of playing it like this, we're just going to take the first key and bring it down here. F, G, A, G. So it's going to be like this. Now we switch. 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 Start over. So then the next part is you do the same thing except that you play the two E's back and forth kind of like a seesaw. So it's first like same time. Then you move. Same time. Back and forth. Same time. Back and forth. Same time. Same time. Same time. into another variation, which is in the main theme, where you go up here and you go. And then you get on to the next part. So in the right hand, all you're doing is you're starting on B and C. So you start on B and you go back and forth. So it's very important to start on B, you don't start on C. So you start on B and you keep it the same beat. You don't go. You go. So now in the left hand, you go. So that's pinky on A, middle finger on C, and thumb on E, and you go from the bottom to the top 3 whole times. Okay? Then you just move your 4th finger up to B, and you do that 3 times starting from the bottom. And then you go back to this one. Move your pinky down to G, back up to this one, up to B, back to A, down to G, A, B, and then it goes into the next part. So all together it's move, back to, again, and then it goes into the next part. So all together it's and then it goes to the next part. So I know that's a little bit tricky, but just know that this doesn't change. You're just doing. The thing that's important is keeping that left hand consistent. So now I'm going to play at full speed what it should sound like. And then you go to the next part, okay? So feel free, pause the video, practice that, make sure you really get that section down. Then we get into another variation of that main theme. This is the main theme. So I take that part and I play it in octave. So I go, same keys, but I'm just adding in the same key up here. Move to B. Up to C. D. B. Start over. And in the left hand, I'm going to be doing a little loop. So it goes. So the loop is first your pinky on F, middle finger A, pointer finger C, thumb on F. C, A. So it goes. And then you do that 3 more times. So that's 4 times total. Then you do the same pattern, just with different keys. Pinky on G, middle finger on B, pointer finger on D, and thumb on G, D, B. So it's second time, third time, fourth time. Then you do the same pattern, just moving keys. Pinky up to A, middle finger on C, pointer finger on E, thumb on A, E, C. So it's second time, third time, fourth time. Okay, then we go back to the one we just did. Second time, going to be like this all together. Okay, and that kind of comes in between this right hand part. So we're going to put both hands together here. So first we go. Now on the third time that you play it, remember because we're doing this 4 times, you repeat this A. Okay, now we switch to B. You play the same exact thing, you just do it lower on the piano. So then it goes here, same thing with what we just learned. Repeat. Switch to B. Repeat. C. Back down. And then we get into another variation. So I'm going to play that variation, then it goes. Okay, so this is getting increasingly harder. If you can't tell, the variations kind of like build. Think of like this main part is like the first level, and then it kind of builds on top of each other. So it does get harder and harder. If you're finding that you're having trouble with this, just skip this variation and you play the one that you learned earlier. No problem there. It's the same kind of melody, you're just adding more and more and more keys. So feel free to draw it back if you need to, but I'm going to go ahead, for the people that want to learn it, teach this hard variation here. So you have this right hand loop that you're kind of doing, and the left hand is a part of that loop. So what I mean by that is you have your left hand doing that, and then it kind of crosses over into this loop. So it's like, and then you hit the loop up here. So you start on 2 Fs in your left hand, and in your right hand you go A, F, E, C. So it's A, F, E, C. So starting together we have. So try that. And then the loop goes. So it goes from the bottom. Okay, so try that all together, these two together. Then the entire thing repeats as part of the loop. So all together, we have these two together. Full speed, it's. It's a little bit of a weird timing, so feel free to just practice that before we move on to the next section. So then we do the same pattern, just different keys. So then in your left hand you move up to G, and in your right hand you go B, G, E, D. cross over to E. So it's, so try that, these two. And then it goes, so you're going bottom, back to the bottom. So you're kind of like walking up and walking back down. And then it repeats. Okay, now we do the same thing here. We move our pinky to, in the right hand, C, A, E, C. And then in our left hand is playing the two A's, so it's cross over to E again. So these at the same time. And then you go. Remember, we're walking from the bottom back down. So it's. Then that repeats. Okay, then we go back to the one we just did before it, where it's, remember, B, G, E, D. So it's, and then G in the left hand. Repeat. Okay, like I said, it's a little bit tricky, but I'm going to do each one now all together without me talking so you can watch how I do it. So remember the first one. Okay. Just higher up on the piano. Same exact keys, we're just moving it all the way up here. So full speed, it would sound like this. Now I'm going to teach the last hardest variation of the entire song. I'm going to go ahead and play it for you here. Start with the right hand here. So remember how we were doing this part and your left hand would cross over and hit that E? Well, now we're playing other keys in the left hand, so our left hand doesn't have time to cross over. So what we're going to have to do is play it in the right hand, which means your hand's going to have to jump and add that in here. Remember that loop I was talking about? It's the exact same. The only thing you're doing is you're now playing this E key with your right hand instead of your left hand crossing over. So I'm going to play it nice and slow and show you what I mean. So have the same loop here. Starts over. Okay, now we move to the next part just like we learned. Start over. Next part. Start over. Back down to this one. Start over. Okay, so I'm going to play it without me talking. You can just watch the loop. So this is going to take a lot of practice to be able to play it nice and quick because, again, your hand has a little bit of jump. But as you practice it over and over and over, it will get easier and easier. So then while you're doing that in the right hand, your left hand is doing a little new pattern. So it's, so you go F, C, F, C. And you repeat. You do it a total of 6 times. So it's... to your pinky on G, pointer finger on D, thumb on G, and you go 6 times, starting from the bottom. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Move up to pinky on A, pointer finger on E, thumb on A, and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Back down to this one. G, D, and G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that goes throughout the entire part. So you switch whenever you switch in the right hand. So whenever you're moving from one part in the right hand, you move to the next part in the left hand. So that's a good way to not like think about how many times you're counting. You're just keeping track of, oh, okay, now I'm moving to the next part. Good, and I move to the next part in the left hand too. So I'm going to show you how this works together. So a good little rule here is no key should be playing by itself. So in other words, I'm playing every key in the left hand exact same time as every key in the right hand. So it's... Now we switch. It would sound like this. Okay, so then another way that you can do this next is you play the exact same thing, just move higher up on the piano. So here we go, we're playing it up here. And then at this point I like to end, so then I go back to this E key here, and then I go down to this F, and I go. So I'm just going F, C, F, crossover A, C, F. Alright guys, and there you have it. That is it. That is the entire main theme from Interstellar, composed by Hanszimmer. If you guys enjoyed this tutorial, definitely make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so it helps me out on my channel and can make sure that this video can reach more and more people. Don't forget to create art, and I'll see you guys next time.